is until the Bills open up their season on Sunday night against the Ravens. They're favored in that game and every other game as well. Bills are the only team that are favored in each of their games this year. They are not, however, going to go undefeated, okay? I mean, they might.
They could.
They could, but
possible.
they're not, supposed to. Is Buffalo getting too much respect?
Well, now that Nick has educated us on Vegas, like they're because if I was looking at this like, oh, they're picked to go 17-0, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were what, 11 and a half?
11
Is that what
and a
they're? I mean, so if that's the case, if we really think they'll be an elite team, win more than 11 games, that's fine. They are an elite team. They are going to be right there in the hunt. They're hungry. I don't think they're going to take a step back. I'm like last year, they looked like the best team for a long time in the regular season. I don't think they'll necessarily look like that, but I think they'll be one of these teams in the hunt to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. So I don't think they're being, given too much respect.
Yeah, this Buffalo had this, they had this accomplishment, if you want to call it that, a couple years ago. They were favored in every single game. If you are the Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, or Eagles right now, and you don't play any of those other three teams on that list on the road, you're going to be favored in every game. Like that is, so I think this is I think the reaction to this is show a lack of maybe understanding of why the lines are what they are. The best teams in the league are going to be favored in every single home game, and they're going to be favored at least slightly on the road against everyone except for the other best teams. I do think that top line, the Bills have the best odds to finish the regular season league-wide with the best record, is an interesting bet that might be worth playing. I think the Bills have never had the number one seed in the Josh Allen era, and it would be, they play in wild card, they've never had the bye. They play wild card weekend every year. Because if they can beat Baltimore in week 1, they do always beat Kansas City in the regular season. Like, I think that things can break quite well for them in the regular season. But I think this is, as much as I'd love to say drop the banner for Buffalo, this is how it works. And if the Ravens game was in Baltimore, I don't know the rest of the Ravens schedule off the top of my head. They might be like the Chiefs are favored every game of the year except for the game in Buffalo, and that's how this works every time.
It's so funny, guys. We have to remember this. Because literally all last year, every time there was a situation like this, it was like, the Kansas City Chiefs it's so disrespectful and this or that. And now he's like, guys, this is just how Vegas works. And that's what I kept saying. I was like, guys, this is just mathematical. This is how Vegas works. And now he's saying that, and he's like, yeah, it makes sense. And I could only see that if the Bills, have a couple I forget when I think the Bills and Chiefs play each other kind of early. But I could only see how if, when we see that the Bills are favored, Nick's gonna be like, this is so disrespectful, or anything like that. So we're gonna have to remember that. But he definitely did that last season. Bills getting too much respect, like, it's funny because they know that this segment is really, like, Nick couldn't even really bring the energy, and that's why he couldn't even bring the banners, because he knows, like, he's a showman and stuff like that, but like he can't even really fake a take that much, because it's like Bills getting too much respect. It's like, no, like they're a top team in the NFL. They're going to be favored in all the games that they're clearly better than. They're going to be favored at home against the tough teams because they're a tough team as well. Like, this is just basic 1 + 1 = 2. So this idea that they're getting too much respect is just like, I don't know. It's like, what kind of question is that? It doesn't even are they not? And I don't have it off the top of my head exactly of who all they play, but it's just like, when I think of some of these other top teams, let's just say other playoff teams, like, they're not supposed to be favored against the Lions. They're not supposed to be favored against, the Broncos. And I'm specifically not saying like the Ravens and the Chiefs and the Eagles and whatnot. Like, like they're going to be favored over all those teams. And then again, if you are home, then like, yeah, if you're playing like the Eagles at home or whatever, it's like, yeah, well then that makes sense. But like what Bruce said though, where he's like, for a long time they looked like the best team in the NFL, and I don't think they're gonna look like that this year. but they're an elite team. He didn't think that they were elite last year. He thought they were going to take a step back, which, credit to him, he admitted that he was wrong about that and totally conceded that. But like, it's just like a weird phrasing to be like, oh, they were like one of the best teams, or he said, for a long time I thought that they were like the best team in the NFL, but I don't think they're going to look like that this year. It's like they didn't have this big fall off. They didn't like, they didn't have a situation where they really lost some like major key pieces to free agency. Like, you would think almost that it was like the Philadelphia Eagles who lost like some key pieces, or you're kind of like, this season, I don't know, can Saquon Barkley do it again? Lane Johnson's a year older. Like I understand why people would question a little bit of the Eagles' ability to be as dominant as they were last year. I mean, I've made many Eagles videos saying that. Like, it makes total sense to me. I'm not the person who's like, oh, what you did last year is what you'll do this year. But I guess, like, I'm failing to see why there would be any sense that anything would be different from last year. I feel like you could the better view is, I believe that they're either going to take a step forward, or, unfortunately for them, be exactly who they were last year, mainly because you could just be like, the coaching is not going to take this step forward. I just don't see how you could even remotely take a step back, or even, so I don't know. So if you thought that they were special last year and elite, then it just like kind of continues that, momentum. So, but yeah, Bills are the only team to open as favorites in every game of 2020 of the 25 season. That's also just because they got like the best schedule of all the top teams. When I broke down their schedule, it was like, whoa, this is a nice schedule. And of course, you got the conspiracy theorists being like, oh, they did it on purpose and this, that. Some of the people who are coming out here with the schedule release, someone said it with the Eagles, because the Eagles play the Commanders, Bills, Commanders, and they're like, oh, they did this on purpose to help the Eagles. And I'm like thinking to myself, what? The Eagles don't, like, it was a Commanders fan who said this. It was like, the Eagles don't have a single back-to-back home game. They have a brutally tough schedule. And you think playing the Commanders, Bills, Commanders is like easy for them? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's just the way how some people perceive how schedules are made, or like, and listen, sometimes you can get the sense of like some favoritism or some, manipulation, but like this idea that the NFL wants the Buffalo Bills to win or something, like, I mean, I don't think Buffalo Bills fans are going to feel that way. I don't think anyone in their right mind could really believe that be the case. But I am on the record saying that it is all up to the Buffalo Bills, that like the way how this schedule is unfolding, as long as there's no injuries, etc., and you can see that they're favorite in every game of the season, if they don't get the number 1 seed, if they don't have home field advantage in the AFC Championship game, secure the bye, outside of a team that is just on fire, like the Chargers, or like, it's got to be another AFC team, another team that's like really anything but the Ravens or the Chiefs, really, a team that just kind of really caught everyone off guard, and now like the Chiefs and the Ravens are all like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. How did the Chargers do this, right? Like, I would just be like, this is insane. I could accept a little bit if the Chiefs or the Ravens there, but even then I would still be like, why are they able to do this and you're not, right? Why are the Chiefs able to do this again? Why are the Ravens able to do this again, right? And then even in my example with like a Charger, like, why were the Chargers able to go from, one of the worst records in the NFL, a pretty good record, into the playoffs, and then now in the third season, the number 1 seed, the number 1 seed. How did Harbaugh, essentially in year 2, bring this team to have the number 1 seed? Why is it that year after year after year, the Chiefs are able to be the number 1 seed and they're constantly able to rebuild their roster, right? Why are the Ravens able to do it again? And it would be like multiple times now with Lamar. Like, why can't you ever do this? Why can't you ever secure the 1 seed? Why can't you ever secure the bye? Why can't you get to a Super Bowl? And that's what I said. I'd let everyone go at this point. I mean, I would take like a total like hard-nosed fan take where I'm just like, fire everyone. I'm just done with this. How many times can we keep doing this whole, if you can't do it with this schedule, with this team, with this quarterback, well, then you can't ever do it. And I'm done. I'm like, see ya, bye. I'd rather take a chance and hire Cliff Kingsbury to be the head coach again and see if he can transform this offense than do whatever the heck is going on again if you come up short, you know? I'd rather try to figure out, like, hey, can we hire Cliff Kingsbury and somehow maybe get like Fangio with the Buffalo Bills or something? Like, I don't know. Like, I would just try something. I don't know what I would do. Try to make a play. Hey, can we get Bill Belichick as our defensive coordinator? Like, Bill, you really want to be in UNC? Like, come on, man. Like, you don't want to be there. You could bring your girlfriend, Jordan, whatever. Like, it's cool. Like, I don't know. I would just have to take chances. I'd be like, Josh Allen's getting older. Like, you know, it's just ridiculous. So this season is all hands on deck. Seriously. And I want to think about it a little bit more, but like, I'm trying to think, you know, if you do get to the Super Bowl, or I guess really honestly, the only team that it would be appropriate to lose to would be the Eagles, since they would then be reigning back-to-back Super Bowl champions. But if you like even made it to the Super Bowl and then you lost to the 49ers, the Rams, the Lions, the Commanders, I'm trying to think of any other random teams that could end up being in there. It would just be like, how? So the Rams were able to win 2 Super Bowls now since Josh Allen got drafted? Are you serious? You know, the Lions are now able, they just lost both their coordinators and they were able to beat you in the Super Bowl. Are you serious? You know, like the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, year 2, they were able to build a team and beat you in the Super Bowl. Are you serious? Like, it would be like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? How are they allowing this to happen? Like, what are you doing? And that's why, to me, it would only be the Eagles, because you would say, okay, this roster is amazing. They've already won, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it would be acceptable to a degree. It would still be frustrating, but it would still be like, it would be a little bit easier to swallow. You would just say, man, the Bills are just kind of unlucky in that regard. But no, man, the excuses have dried up for the organization as a whole. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills? Do you think they're getting too much respect? How do you feel about their schedule? Do you think that they should be favored to be the number 1 seed going into next season, as we have this conversation in May, 101 days away from game 1? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.